Hi, my name is Melina Junri, and I'm the Executive Vice President at the National Alliance for the Advancement of Haitian Professionals. We're excited to bring the virtual one-on-one membership conversations to you. These conversations give our members the opportunity to showcase their hard work and dedication within the community. We curated these one-on-one virtual dialogues as part of our mission to educate, connect, and empower. Our efforts towards recruiting and retaining more members in 2022 would not be possible if not for our current members' loyalty and dedication to us as an organization. From all of us at NAAHP, thank you.
Today we have in a conversation with Dr. Ernest. It's one of the series that we have with NAAHP members, a conversation and interviewing them and getting to know them, and for you also to know them as well. So today we have Dr. Ernest with us today. So welcome, Dr. Ernest. How are you?
I'm doing well, Dr. Almonacy. Thank you for having me.
Oh, welcome. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And so I wanted to know, would you like to do a little introduction of yourself and tell us a little bit about you before we start our conversation?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Dr. Ernest Joseph Barthélemy. I'm the new Chief of Neurosurgery at the SUNY Downstate Health Sciences University. I am originally from New York. I was born in Brooklyn. Both of my parents are from Gonguev in the south of Haiti. And I stay pretty strongly connected to my Haitian roots. I'm also the president and co-founder of the Society of Haitian Neuroscientists, which is a Haitian diaspora organization. I'm sure I'll get a chance to say more about it in the interview.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Welcome. Such long. I'm looking at the screen right now. So many different things we have your name. That's very, very busy person. So I introduce myself. My name is Cynthia Almonacy, and I'm the manager of Measure Member Services at NAAHP. To talk a little bit about myself, I work in human services for over 21 years, and currently I work as a full-time consultant for employee service program. And so I was a consultant. So basically what we do, we help employees, when they call us, they have benefits to the employer to do an assessment and also help them figure out what they need in the community, whether it's therapy, whether it's elder care, financial care. So we help them for whatever services they need in the community, and we have to be licensed to be able to do that. So I'm a licensed also mental health counselor, and also have a private practice where I actually do counseling part-time, and also have be starting in September to teach as a part-time as an adjunct instructor at one of the colleges in the state where I live in, Rhode Island College. So it sounds like my plate is getting fuller than it was before. So I'm excited about getting this journey. And also, I'm also a member of APARI, which is like in Rhode Island, which is one of the organizations who help the Haitian community. We sometimes do Flag Day to kind of really, and also we also do some kind of like educational, cultural things to help them whatever they might need in the community. So whatever the needs of the communities are, we figure out what that is, and we make sure that we do it for them. So to basically to empower the Haitian community with positivity within the Haitian culture. So I'm like a member of HAPARI. So that's basically in a nutshell what I do. So, and also I've got to mention, I also wrote an article about because I'm big on mental health in the Haitian community. So I actually wrote an article maybe like a few years back. I don't remember when that is anymore. But I wrote an article about to connect the mental health piece and also in the Haitian culture, and to explain for the viewers who are reading the article, like how tough it is to kind of really for the Haitian culture to embrace 100% mental health. So and like the barriers in the way, and also educate them also what mental health is, so you can deal with that stigma. It's not something you should approach with fear, but something that's going to be helping you. So I wrote an article about that, and that was published. So trying to bridge that gap between mental health and in the Haitian community, so they can actually seek help if they need help. So I wanted to mention that as well. So welcome, Dr. Ernest. So are you ready to talk about you? Today's all about you today. So are you ready to talk about you today?
I'm ready to talk about me, although you're doing a lot of interesting things yourself. I think some of my society members would actually be interested in the article you published and some of the work you're doing.
Oh, so really? I would be more than happy to share that with them. So if you want to know, let me know. I'm more than happy to do that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Oh, perfect. Awesome. All righty. So our first question for you, for the viewers, you can tell everyone, tell us what led you to be in the field of medicine.
Yes. I think probably all of us, or certainly many of us who grew up in the Haitian culture, I think first of all, we have a culture that values education and progress. And so it was not unusual for me to have both of my parents pushing for me to enter medicine. And that had its influence. I have some physicians in my extended family. My mother has spent most of her time working as a nurse and nurse practitioner in her clinical career, and my father is not a physician, although he also worked briefly in nuclear medicine technology before focusing his career otherwise in insurance and finance. But his brother and my cousin and some of my other relatives were physicians. So it's not like it was absent from my entourage. But I had a very strong performance in biology in high school, a lot of experiences that pushed me in that direction. And so when I came to medicine much later in life, I had 2 careers prior to medicine. I was a personal fitness trainer at the time, obtaining a master's degree in applied physiology at Columbia University, Teachers College. And one of my professors picked me out of his class and he said, "You're not the typical student that comes through this program." And he pushed me very strongly towards a medical career. And so I think that later wake-up call connected with a lot of what was there from much earlier on.
Oh, wow. It sounds like that person had a big influence on you, even though you had the entourage of everyone in your family were into that, but that didn't cross your mind to actually go that route. But until someone told you, by the way, I think you have so much more to offer than what you're doing right now. So
yeah, that's true. I think children often rebel, right? So if anything, I think the pressure probably pushed me away from medicine, and I wasn't sure I would ever come back. But this Belgian physiologist took an interest in me, and he really opened my eyes to the idea that not only of what was possible in medicine, but that even what I was trying to accomplish in the fitness industry. That's how he sold it to me. He said, you could do all of that as a physician as well, but if you pursue your medical education, then you'll have a whole other world of options open to you. And he said, and you can practice anywhere in the world. And that was very prophetic. I didn't understand at that time that global health would become so central to what I'm doing. So he was an important figure in my journey.
Yeah. It sounds like if you had heard it from your family member, would have gone that route, or is it because someone away from your family there was less pressure, less way for you to perform a certain way that was helpful, that you heard it from a complete stranger?
It's hard to say. I think at the time that I heard it, everyone else in my family was pretty clear that I made different choices, and they were supportive. In fact, I was planning to pursue a doctorate in applied physiology in that program, and I think everyone was very much at peace with the choices I had made up to that time. I had been a professional dancer for about 5 years, and then made the transition into the fitness industry. And I probably was ready to hear that advice. So had that come from a family member for some reason, I don't think I would have pushed it away as strongly as I did in my late teenage years. So perhaps I would have done the same had I heard it from someone in my family.
Yeah, because at the time you were ready, it sounds like from coming now from a mental health provider. Do you feel like that acceptance of them also kind of give you enough peace and enough way for you to think about, okay, I can do whatever I want, and whatever I do, they will actually accept me because they already accepted you, whatever your choices you made. Do you think that was also easy for you to say, I can be who I am, I want to be? There's no pressure.
Well, yes. I think by the time I had, remember 5 years as a professional dancer, so everyone was clear that I was going to do what I was going to do, and accepted me and my choice anyway. Yeah. So certainly there was a freedom. So I think that was just part of my own, maturing process. Great. And some people may come to that a lot earlier than I did, but that's what happened with me.
Sure. You mentioned a professional dancer. I had to go back to that. And what were you a professional dancer in?
So I specialized actually in Cuban, Afro-Cuban, and Latin dance. So it was a journey that started off with popular salsa, mambo, Latin dancing, I took it up as a hobby just as I was starting college. I did my undergraduate studies at NYU, and I I became very, very interested in the music and the history behind the music. And honestly, I discovered some really interesting roles that Haiti and Haitian culture played in the roots of salsa music and dancing. So I think very early on, I thought, oh, I have accidentally, discovered myself in a music and dance culture that I used to think of as coming from another culture. But, I started learning about the Afro-Cuban roots and figured out that a lot of those Afro-Cuban roots were actually Haitian roots from Haitians who had traveled to the eastern region of Cuba, the Oriente region. In fact, Haitian Creole is the second most widely spoken language in Cuba after Spanish. And so, learning both about the Haitian roots of Afro-Cuban rhythms in Cuba and the Haitian roots of jazz in New Orleans, I felt like, oh, so no wonder I connect so strongly, and many Haitians connect so strongly with this salsa music and dance culture. We have a very important role in it historically. And so I built that into a whole career. So I was performing in various places, teaching, traveling to Cuba regularly. Every time I traveled to Cuba, it was legal because I was traveling as a professional, advancing my professional area with the studies I did there. And even taught at NYU. I ended up teaching a course on Afro-Cuban dance traditions at the Tisch School of Arts at NYU for several semesters. So this was going to be a life course for me. A small injury, I used the opportunity of a small injury to rethink what I was up to, and that triggered my transition into a fitness career. So very different things, but in a interesting way, they're all connected.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah, it's just, if you talk about like the journey that you took from here to there, it sounds like everything that leads to what it is something that you wanted. The decision was made that, okay, I'm interested in this, I'm interested in that, and God can lead me right here where it still encompasses everything that I want to do. So
that's right. That's right. That's absolutely true.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Okay. Is the field of medicine your passion? Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years in your career? Maybe you should probably answer the first one because you talk about several different things that you kind of like touch on during your career. But would you say that this is your passion, the field of medicine, or something else is?
I have discovered myself and my life and my passion in medicine. That's how I would say it. And I didn't come to it knowing that was going to be the case, but that absolutely became the case. Everything that I'm up to, my subspecialty interest within neurosurgery is a field that we call global neurosurgery, and global neurosurgery can be thought of not only a clinical area, but the public health practice of neurosurgery with the goal of advancing and satisfying the need for neurosurgical care wherever that need is not met. And Haiti is at the center of that professional vision for me. So, after 2010, I spent a couple of months volunteering to support some surgeons there, and was thinking about where my career was going, and all of the benefit I got to enjoy having been born and raised in the U.S. And I thought, how can I be of service in the country without which I wouldn't even exist?
Yes.
Given everything I've been able to enjoy in the U.S. And so I was already interested in neurosurgery, so I wanted to know: does Haiti need neurosurgeons? How many neurosurgeons are there? What does Haiti need neurosurgeons for, etc. So questions like this were the questions I started to ask myself after those months volunteering, after January 12th, 2010. And those questions led to research projects and, sort of took on a life of their own. And so they actually inspired me to become a global health professional, and a lot of the things I've done since then. And those moments are responsible for the role that I have now. So, at SUNY Downstate, I get to be not only the founding chief of a new division, because SUNY Downstate has not had neurosurgery for almost a decade. And this was a very unique opportunity for me, pretty fresh out of training, to come not only start something new, but serve a Haitian community in Brooklyn at the same time that they have also allowed space for me to pursue my global health interests in Haiti and some other countries, Ethiopia, and Colombia, South America, and a couple of other places where I have some partners, Cuba, for instance. 5 to 10 years from now, so I'm an assistant professor, and that's an academic rank, and you proceed in your academic rank by checking certain boxes as an academic, or earning research grants, publishing, continuing to influence the field in which you practice your scholarship. And so in 5 to 10 years, I see myself as a full professor. So, a couple of ranks further, and as chair of a department. So right now I'm the chief of a division within the Department of Surgery. And the vision of my appointment is actually to create a new independent Department of Neurosurgery at Downstate, and with that to build a residency training program.
Wow.
Which would be very important for Brooklyn. SUNY Downstate is the only comprehensive academic medical center in Brooklyn, New York. So there is no, academic Department of Neurosurgery training residents, et cetera, in Brooklyn. And so in 5 to 10 years, I expect to be there leading those efforts.
That's a great goal. It's good to have a vision, and vision. This is where you want to go. And because you're steadily working on that, I'm sure you'll get there. Because if you always see your path as you went from one thing to one other thing to another thing, so you can see yourself as you're tracing yourself to be able to get there. So I'm sure that will take place between 5 to 10 years. Pretty sure.
Well, thanks for the encouragement.
You're welcome. All right. What led you to join NAAHP? What led you to join us, to come to us?
Yes. Actually, 2017, I started a 2-year fellowship at Harvard. I was a Paul Farmer Global Surgery Research Fellow there, and getting my master in public health, and had a chance to meet a lot of great people, one of whom, Rebecca Osme Obunu, who is also Haitian American, and I believe currently is an associate dean at MIT in the social innovation space. So she knew about the conference. I wasn't even aware of NAAHP, but she said, "Oh, there's a conference happening. I believe it was in November, I want to say, of that year." And I was living in between New York and Boston, and I was shocked that a big Haitian, professional networking conference was happening in New York, and I didn't know about it. So it was thanks to Rebecca that I looked it up and thought this was interesting, and attended, and met some great people, and actually was rapidly mobilized to joining one of the breakout sessions on medicine, where I met actually Dr. Cristina Pardo. That's when I first met her. She is directly responsible for my recruitment at Downstate right now.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. So that came full circle. That actually I hadn't connected that until now, but it actually all started at NAAHP.
Nice. Well, that's good to know the benefits of coming and see so far what happened when you first joined us. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. What led you to create a Society of Haitian Neuroscientists? What are your goals for the society? Are you meeting these goals? So it's like 3-part questions. So
yes, and this challenges me to summarize somewhat long history briefly. Let me say this: that time I spent at Harvard, I actually spent a great deal of that time doing the work that Harvard let me do in Haiti, and meeting with all of the neurosurgeons there. All of the neurosurgeons. We're only talking about 4 people, 3 or 4 people, depending on what time period you're talking about. And I helped them to revive the FADNEC. FADNEC stands for la Fondation Haïtienne pour le Développement de la Neurologie et de la Neurochirurgie. So la FADNEC had been founded some 25 years prior to that point. And but it remained dormant for a variety of reasons. So, I was spending quite a bit of time with the leading neurosurgeons at the time, one of whom is, very well known now, but Alex Elie and Ariel Henry. They were instrumental in starting that organization, and very happy about my push to revive the organization, and we did. So we started. So that La FADNEC came back January 12th, 2018. We started having meetings. We were afforded some conference space, and we were out to advance the mission of La FADNEC, which was the promotion and advancement of the clinical neurosciences in Haiti. And we intended on having an international neuroscience conference there, the first of its kind. And so Ariel Henry was nominated president of that organization, and he nominated me vice president. And we had a new governing structure, and I had some partners I was pulling in from the neurosurgery organizations in the US and internationally. However, with the devolving political situation that we have all seen over the past 3-4 years now, it was, there was never a secure enough environment for us to organize the conference safely. And I'm talking about the state of security in 2018, 2019, not what it is now, which is so much worse.
Yeah.
So even with new members joining and a growing FADNEC, we were paralyzed in our actions, even up to now. So La FADNEC does legally exist, and we have the intention to move on our goals, but we still need a political transformation in Haiti for any of that to come to pass. So I thought, well, this is absurd for so many reasons, and I imagine there must be many, many times the neurosurgeons, neurologists, psychiatrists, psychologists from Haiti, of Haitian descent, around the world, outside of Haiti, than what there are in Haiti right now. And I thought, why don't I just find all of them and create a new organization and see if we can bring our actions together to reverse the impact of the brain drain that Haiti's cyclical turmoil has caused. Right? We're this huge intelligentsia living outside of Haiti, and many of us would love nothing more than to be able to do whatever we're doing in our new adopted countries back in our home country, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe we could do something related to that. So and so I created SHN, the Society of Haitian Neuroscientists. Currently have 100 members in 6 countries, mostly in the US, but we have members in Haiti, we have members in Colombia, South America, in Canada, in France, and in Qatar. And the mission of La FADNEC is to promote the clinical, basic, and translational neurosciences in Haiti by the creation of the conditions necessary for their advancement. That's number one. Number two is to advance neurological and mental health care in all Haitian communities, so both in Haiti and all diaspora and Haitian communities. And then thirdly, to foster collaborations between Haitian neuroscientists. I would say we've certainly had some successes so far in terms of serving our mission. We have created a formal structure. We do exist as a 501c3. Our leadership has been able to organize some virtual conferences. We have a scientific meeting that presents the research or work that people are up to every month. We actually have one coming up next Saturday at 3 p.m. And yeah, you know what? For that talk, if people are interested in that talk, I mentioned this earlier, you can go to bit.ly, so that's bit.ly/SHN talks. I don't know if our tech people can get that, can show that for us.
Yeah, thanks. She just said.
That is that's the registration link for this talk. We'll have Dr. Gwenaëlle Thomas presenting. She's a postdoctoral researcher at Duke University, and she's done amazing work on developing new antipsychotic therapeutics in mice. So this is the work of a PhD she just finished at Duke.
Nice.
So she'll be presenting. But we do things like this every month. And then in Haiti, our principal action for the past 2 years, it's a little over 2 years now, there is a neurology training program at the Hôpital Universitaire de Mirebalais that we have supported with twice monthly or more lectures, case conferences, and educational sessions of various types to support the training of these neurologists and the preparation of their exams and such. So we also have a vibrant and growing community. We've had some very passionate discussions about what's happening in the Haitian community with Haitian mental health. And the last thing I'll mention, one of our members, Judith Blanc, who leads our mental health research efforts. So this is Dr. Judith Blanc. She's actually a research psychologist at the University of Miami. She has launched a 10-year cohort study called the Haitian Wellbeing Study, the goal of which is to understand the determinants of well-being and mental health in the Haitian community. So I'll be one of the site principal investigators for that study at SUNY Downstate, and Judith will be leading it at the University of Miami, where the study primarily lives. But that effort draws very strongly on the resources of SHN and the membership of SHN in its current efforts. So we're doing a lot, and yet there's so much more for us to do.
Oh, and I noticed that when you talk about it, you're right. It's uncommon when I don't think you're ever going to get there, because science evolves all the time. And so is the human being itself. As you get to something else comes up, new stuff in medicine arrives, it's new stuff in mental health arrives. So you're always going to have something that's going to kind of really want you to keep going, kind of get your curiosity going. How can I make this happen? Now this new things are happening. So you're always going to be challenged to keep going.
That's
right. And then if you lack a challenge, you're never going to stop. You're going to keep on going. So
exactly. I think that makes for a great career.
I agree. It's like it's ongoing. This is where I talk about treatment. When you call the mental health piece, I said treatment is ongoing. It's like you're never done working on yourself, who you are as a person. It's an ongoing. So it's science too. It's never ends. It's ongoing, because there's always new things to learn, new things to discover. It's a going field all the time. So yeah.
Exactly. But it has grown in an inequitable and racist way. And so it requires people who look like you and me doing research with an equity prism, so we can correct what has been incorrect about the way a lot of science has been done. So there is even so much more to learn about our people and about our brothers and sisters from other African ancestry communities who have been historically neglected in a lot of the leading research efforts. So even very basic things that are considered common knowledge or common sense don't have what we call in public health or research, external validity. They're not really fully generalizable, right, to Black populations, because Black populations have been left out for so many reasons. So there is even that much more for us to do, but it's also a very exciting prospect, because we can discover new things and serve our community, and other communities will ultimately benefit from that work as well.
True. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for really being detailed, explaining that. It makes a lot of sense, and thank you for all the details. Thank you so much. And I'm sure the viewers will be also happy to hear the details, and for those who can go and watch this as well on Saturday, it's very, very important. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So you sit on different groups. That's the next question. What led you to choose these groups, and how do you contribute to these groups?
Yeah. Great question. Well, early in my neurosurgery training, I had a new vision for what my leadership would look like in Haiti and what I wanted to do in Haiti. And that vision was primarily focused on using neurosurgery specifically, and then neuroscience more broadly as a tool for social transformation. Okay, so so all of my work occurs inside of that vision somehow, and you know, when you take up the work of leadership development, many people are inspired by the idea of leadership, and those of us who are actually in the business of it know it's hard work, and it can be dangerous work, right? That's why many leaders actually are assassinated, because you know, leaders often will have people come face to face with what they say they believe and what they're actually doing, and the conflict or hypocrisy, right? And you know, the practice of effective leadership, you know, often involves figuring out how do you do that? How do you have people, you know, make those discoveries, have that cognitive dissonance of, oh, I'm not doing what I say I stand for, but do that without getting killed, right? right,
Sure.
right. And you know, you can think about some of our most legendary leaders, and you know, and where there were successes and where there were failures. So all of that is to say, I take the practice of leadership very seriously. And so a lot of these activities in which I'm currently involved, I think of as my leadership games. You know, it's a question of, do the values of what this group believes in align with my values, and does this make sense? And Haiti is going to be somewhere in that calculus for me. There's going to be some, you know, whether it's what I'm doing, you know, on the International League Against Epilepsy. I mean, I'm not an epilepsy specializing neurosurgeon, but Haiti needs me to bring some expertise to epilepsy as a neurosurgeon. And so, you know, I've joined the Global Health Task Force of that organization. In organized neurosurgery, you know, the World Federation of Neurosurgical Societies, WFNS, has a young neurosurgeons group. Many of those young neurosurgeons from around the world, Sub-Saharan Africa, you know, South Asia, Latin America, they face a lot of similar challenges as some of the challenges we're facing in Haiti. And it's amazing what you can, you know, learn from each other when you connect with a group like that and start you know, problem solving in a collective manner. And so, you know, I was very happy to seize the opportunity to serve as co-chair for the Young Neurosurgeons Forum of that organization. And you'll find that thread, you know, the common thread of, you know, you have to suspect that Haiti lives somewhere in the reason why I'm doing anything that I'm doing. Otherwise, there are also real-time management challenges, and you always have to, you know, ask yourself, what matters to me, and what can I afford to create space for, and when do I have to put something down? And I've recently actually stepped down from some other responsibilities as I'm stepping into this role at SUNY Downstate, because I know it's going to, you know, require, you know, something significant, I would say, you know, of my time and energy.
That's true, because if you're gonna get yourself into something, you have to be able to be present. If you cannot be present, then you're not going to be able to give what you came to give to begin with. So it's good that you're kind of really clear that, okay, I might have to put aside a few things so I can actually be focused on this thing right now. And I like the fact that you say Haiti is at the center of everything that you do, and you can see that when you talk, it's always go back to Haiti. You know, always back to Haiti. Somehow, some way, there's a connection around Haiti, which is so good to hear that.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, next question. So, how do you balance work in your personal life? Are you fully present at work as well as in your personal life? And we just talk about being present.
How does balance work? So, you know, this won't be the full story. I'm just going to jump to, you know, how I balance my time.
Okay.
But there was a process getting there, and I divide my life up in 8 categories that are important to me. Okay, I have my spiritual life, my vitality, health, wellness, fitness. I have my family, my leadership life. That's an actual category of life for me. My life as a clinical neurosurgeon, my life as a scientist, my life in the world of finance, and then my life in the world of rest, revitalization, recreation, rejuvenation, if you will. So these are my 8 categories. And and I developed this for myself over time. And I just kind of look, as I put my days together, how am I doing in each of those categories? I think balance in a life where you're working to grow in all areas is an active process. You keep sort of recalibrating, making sure that you're putting the first things first. So, spiritual life, wellness, family, like these are core values, for instance, that will never be compromised with me. If I can't tend to those things, I can't do any of the other stuff, for example. And I structure my life in a way that enables me to attend to all of those things. I think the last thing I'll say about this point is it's been a double-edged sword for me that I've always been an early riser. But early riser for me used to mean, I wake up at 6 a.m. or even 5 a.m. with no problem. That's before I became a neurosurgeon, right? So now, if I wake up at 5:30, that is a late hour for me. My days usually I'm waking up at somewhere in the 3 or 4 o'clock neighborhood, and that's by choice. I don't even have to do that. But what I've found is that there is a magical multi-hour period of time when most people are still sleeping, and it's happening in that, call it 4 a.m. to 8 or 3 to 7, or, in that space of multiple hours where you can completely create your life if you're willing to seize that period of time. And so I take that period of time very, very seriously. So, and there's a variety of activities, whether it's exercise, meditation, things that I read, study, work. There's work. There's a book called Deep Work. It captures some of this idea. It's a good one. But that's really where I create the balance for everything else that I'm up to.
Great. All right. Awesome. Thank you. And so that question you just answered almost kind of leads us to the next question, which is about what are some of your interests and hobbies and how you're able to incorporate them in your schedule. So it doesn't like you said touching on that already, but do you want to elaborate some more since that's the next question?
So how do I, and just, can you repeat just so I center it? So it's how do I create like time in my schedule specifically for the things that I'm up to?
Yeah. So what are some of your interests and hobbies and how you're able to incorporate them in your schedule?
Yeah, sure. So elaborating more. So most days, my time in the gym is going to be somewhere between 4 and 7 a.m. usually. The gym I go to opens at 5:30. So if I want to actually go physically to the gym, then I'll go do that. If my day is happening much earlier, then I will choose some other mode of exercise, like running, that I can do without having to go to the gym. And I try to stay flexible. If I have just too much happening very early in the day, then I'll go ahead and put my going to the gym in the evening, like that. And I'm very serious about that. I don't compromise about going to the gym. It might it's like a thing that must happen. And so, at bare minimum, I'm exercising 6 days a week in some way, shape, or form. With regard to my family, I have a protected block of time on my schedule that repeats in my calendar every single week. And anytime something comes up that may challenge that time, I first check with my wife and kids and I say, is there anything we might want to do during this period? Because if there is, then that's what I'm doing. Whatever it is, we are planning. If we've got nothing going on, that is the only situation in which I will then entertain any other activity, and then that's how I protect the value I have around the time with my family. So those are two concrete examples. And when you develop a growth mindset and you're looking at areas of your life like this, your brain starts to discover some really amazing ways to have it all work.
True. And so for once, if someone was having a struggle into balancing work and also life, what would you good advice you give to them for them to be able to kind of really do that? It sounds like you're very strict and about how you do a very strict schedule you're following. What would your advice be to someone who's struggling between balancing work and life and also taking care of themselves?
Yeah, well, you just got to make the choice first. You have to choose yourself. You've got to. Some people have said if you don't have the time to take care of yourself, then you need to take even more time to take care of yourself. Right. Okay. But it has to start with you. It has to start with the will, the desire, because the how, there are many ways. There are many ways to get at this. There are great books, okay? Some timeless books in the personal development and success literature. Some of them, I've read multiple times, or I often use for the people I mentor, like The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is an outstanding one. Timeless principles of leadership. I keep coming back to that. So if you're familiar with that framework, the 7th habit is sharpen the saw. Steve Covey, the late author of that book, he talks about the balance between production and production capacity. So very, very powerful ideas. That's one example. Another book is Think and Grow Rich, which up to now, it blows me away how the content of that book and the value of that book is far greater than I think the title suggests, because really I have found it to be a very powerful guide for building a rich life, not just in terms of money, but really, whatever wealth looks like for you in any area of life that matters to you. I have found the ideas and concepts and even prescriptions of that book very useful to me in my life. And there's many others. I mean, the whole field of the human potential movement has spawned a whole array of courses and leaders, and there's many ways to do this. And I've definitely done many of them. I've gotten great value out of everything that I've done. Very interesting courses, esoteric courses, leadership development things. There's all kinds of great things out there. So the tools are available. You could even get them for free in a library. You get a library card, go to the library, find these books. You don't have to spend a dime, and you can start educating yourself about how to do this. But you have to choose you first. You have to choose you. Most religions have powerful prescriptions for personal development. Look to your faith. See what your faith has to say about self-care and and how to improve the quality of your life. I've found that that this transcends religious or even cultural boundaries.
True. And there's something, as I'm listening to you, there's something you said that's important. And I also do that to some of my clients. Whatever work that you do, if you're not taking care of yourself, you can really be present at work, because you can go to work and let's just say you're anxious. You could be on screen at someone who just asks you a simple question, and you might even be able to perform the way you should perform. So, and out of that, if your mental state is not okay, you can get some physical condition out of it as well, because stress can act on your body. So, and I think what you say, if you want to be good and healthy and be productive in life, you have to choose yourself, whatever that means for everyone, whether it's to take a medication, whether it's to work out, whether it's healthy or whatever that is. You gotta choose you first, like you said, in order for you to maintain some kind of emotional balance, which in turn will, kind of act on your body as well, and you'll be fully 100% like your mind, your body, and your spirit, everything will be like in sync. So I think what you say is important, to choose yourself. A lot of time people don't choose just themselves for whatever reason. It could be a lot of mental health stuff going on too, but if you want to take care of yourself mentally, you also choosing yourself, and there's a great benefits about that as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you. I think that's all the questions that I had for you. Do you have anything that you would like to say to us that we have not asked you?
Yes. What I'd like to say is we're a very special community. I think many of us who have Haiti on our minds and our hearts, and when things get very difficult there, and difficult is a light word for the kinds of horrifying things that that I'm including in what I call difficult. It's very easy to turn our back on Haiti, frankly, when things get really bad. And I would encourage us not only to never, ever do that, but consider that we are part of a nation that goes beyond the borders of that country, right? The nation of Haiti is who all of us are. And I am clear that the moment, if we have one moment of collective action as a community, we can completely transform the country in an unrecognizable way. I am so certain that this is the case, that my life in many ways is committed to that ideal. And so I would encourage us to look, that same idea of, I just talked about the choice that you make for your life, right? Well, we are the body, the life of Haiti. And really, fundamentally, what's missing is a choice. As a community, we have a very powerful moment. We made a collective choice in 1804, right? So all that's missing is for us to do the same, is to make a collective choice like we made in 1804. And we can finish the job that we started all those years ago. So that's all I want to say. That message is specifically for our community here at NAAHP.
Yes, awesome. You know what? And that's a great message, because we never want to lose hope, no matter what circumstances of life, whether it's your personal life, or in your work life, whether it's in like you just described, ticket of Haiti. We never lose hope, because hope take away anything that we strive, that we want to see accomplished. As you say, you have an image in your head, a vision in your head. If you don't have hope, it's not going to come to completion. And I think it's correct. There's so much stuff that people wants to do for Haiti, and if we don't have that vision, that can be a different place in our head, we're never going to want to do anything. We're going to despair and, like you say, turn away from it. But if you have your mindset, we have hope that will be different, that hope is going to drive you to work hard to make that happen. So but thank you for sharing that with us, because a lot of people lose hope, because it's easier to, like you say, to turn away than have to do the work needs to be done to make it happen, because there's so many things you see, you'll be like, oh my goodness. But the message you're sending, it's like, we never lose hope, no matter how bad it looks, because then you're never going to do the work. So
that's it.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. So thank you so much. I can imagine, like, when people watch this video, this recording, are they gonna really be enriched by everything you said? I was enriched by everything you say. So I just want to thank you so much for saying yes, and I know how busy you are. So I guess everything fall right in the schedule for you to be here today, and I appreciate you prioritizing us today, and then be able to sit with us even at that time, and enrich us with your knowledge, your wisdom, and everything that you say. Thank you so much for being part of NAAHP, and coming to us and be one of the speaker for the community, for the NAAHP community.
Thanks so much for having me. That was my email before that was showing. This link here again is, so this is my email, ejb@haitineuro, and then this link here will let you register for the scientific talk that's coming up. And then on Twitter, you can follow me at Neurosciences Global, so Neurosciences Global, and also at SOC Haiti Neuro. You can follow the Society of Haitian Neuroscientists, and then you'll get the links for registration and any other events that we're working on or up to, where we try to stay active on social media.
Awesome. Well, a lot of time people on social media, so they bound to see what you're doing, and that's how you get people to notice you. So
Exactly.
thank you so much for all those information that you just provided us with. So
My pleasure.
all right, thank you so much. I can thank you enough. So it might take a little while before the recording comes out. I don't have a time frame for that. So, but we will be in touch, and you'll be able to have a good sense on when that will be coming out. But we just want to say thank you so much for being here, and for everything that you taught us tonight, and about yourself and the work that you do.
Thanks for having me. My pleasure.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.